Hey yogis, welcome to Sunday Sutras, your daily dose, or rather your weekly dose of yogic wisdom. My name is Kelsey Delane, and I'm so excited to have you here. Whether you are watching live or on replay, thank you. Today we will dive into New Year's resolutions and why I call bullshit. So you're going to want to have a journal and a pen. Get those ready. Before we get going, I want to say a big thank you to all of my students. In particular, in the past few months, I have felt so deeply connected and so appreciated by you and appreciative of you. Your words, whether it's through a review on my Facebook page or a direct message or coming to class and gracing me with your presence, it is really remarkable what this practice does for both teacher and student. I am so fueled by your commitment to your yoga practice, your desire to share the practice with others, and I'm really grateful that we don't have to do this alone. So thank you. And for those of you that are new to Sunday Sutras, welcome. This is where we get to discuss, interact virtually on these topics that are intended to be discussed. They're intended to be practiced and implemented into our daily life and then worked out in a community. So that's what we do here. Last year, 2017, the second half of the year was really full of radical change in my life and the lives of those closest to me. My dearest friend, that is a sister to me, experienced unfathomable tragedy in July. And that was a catalyst for me to shift my focus and spend a lot of my time and energy really devoted to friends and family, to spend some time in deep reflection. And I appreciate the patience that you've all showed to me as I chose to do that. And welcome a new member of our family. My second daughter is due in April. So last half of 2017, I really wanted to be able to give my full attention there. And now I'm ready. I'm ready to give of myself in this way once again. And I'm eager to reconnect with those of you that have been doing this with me for a while and to make new relationships, hopefully virtually as well as in person. So let's get to it, yogis. I fervently believe that in order to move into a new year or a new experience of any kind, it is radically important that we do the work of processing what came before. I was listening to a podcast, Oprah's Super Soul Sunday podcast, highly recommend it, and she was interviewing Norman Lear. He expressed that he's noticed we undervalue two words in the English language, the first being over and the second word being next. If you were to envision a hammock between these two words, over and next, that hammock is where life happens. That is where presence exists. That's where we can savor the experience of being alive, is between over and next. And that's where we sit here at the beginning of a new year. Or if you're in a transition to a new chapter in your life or a new experience, a new way of being, between over and next, when we sit and reflect and savor and soak up, we can bring with us the lessons, the value, the golden nuggets of what came before, what is now over. We can bring that with us into next and purposefully choose to leave behind that which did not serve us in whatever is over, whether that's a new year, a new chapter. So let's do the work now of taking a peek into the year that has passed, to give ourselves permission to digest, to acknowledge, to recognize, and to distinguish that which we want to bring and that which we want to leave behind. Okay, so take your journal and finish this sentence. In 2017, I felt most alive when, and give yourself permission to write the first thing that comes to you without criticizing, evaluating, overanalyzing. Just finish the sentence really organically. In 2017, I felt most alive when, complete the sentence. Next, I experienced love when, I experienced love when, without judgment, without evaluation, just write. And I felt small when. It's important that we give ourselves the time and the space that's needed to sit with our experiences. Our habit collectively as a culture is to breeze through the uncomfortable memories. We want to say, I didn't like this about 2017. I'm going to push it over here. F that, move on. The truth is, however, if we push things aside, what we resist persists. So if in 2017, you have some shadows, some monsters that make you really uncomfortable to think about, your choice to turn away, ignore, block out, push aside those things instead of giving yourself permission to really look at, really welcome in, whether it's fear, whether it's pain, loss, grief, resentment, whatever those things are, I invite you, I encourage you to do yourself the favor of opening up to the whole collective experience of your past year. The discomfort, the pleasure, the joy, the sorrow, all of it. Because when we do the work of digestion of those experiences, yoga teaches us that we can clear away mala. Mala is the residue and stickiness that can be left behind not only in the physical body, but can be left behind emotionally, energetically, can be left behind in our mind. So when we do the sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes difficult, and not pretty work of clearing away mala by allowing ourselves to acknowledge, to feel, to experience the full range of our emotions, our moments, that's when we actually experience more joy, more prana, more life force, because we chose to take a look at it rather than pushing it aside. So if you have some more fleshing out to do, I recommend that you schedule some more time. If you haven't yet done some serious reflection on 2017, block out a window of time, 30 minutes maybe. And whether it's free writing, meditation, whatever it is that whatever tool that you want to use to do the flushing out and the honoring of 2017, give yourself some more time to do that. When we shift gears to looking forward into the future, into this upcoming year, we often hear phrases like, new year, new you. And I just want to publicly claim that I call bullshit. Here is why. Number one, you are not broken. Let me repeat that. You are not broken. Our culture thrives. The beauty industry, so much of capitalism is driven by your willingness to believe the lie that in your current state, you are broken, you are not enough, you are unworthy. And I want to call that lie out right now and give you permission to recognize that as you are in the current state, you are enough, you are whole, and there is no need to create a new you. The practice of yoga is a waste removal system. Yoga clears away any debris to unveil the beauty of who you actually are already. So the practice of yoga is not a practice of changing yourself. It's not a practice of adding things into you. It's a practice of removing any obstacle that stands in your way of shining as the bright light of confidence, wisdom, and joy that you truly are. Letting Purusha, your true self, shine through. That's what it's about. So if we buy into these New Year's resolutions, new year, new you, what we're saying is that we believe that the me that I am today is somehow unworthy of my fullest love and devotion. And I resent that. I refuse to accept that any longer in my life. And as we evolve in our yoga practice, we come to understand that this is, because it's an internal practice of the mind, it's really about uncovering our deeply held beliefs. Again, Oprah Winfrey, I'm kind of a fangirl, but her podcast, she was interviewing Janine Ruth, I believe is her name. She's the author of Women, Food, and God. It's a fantastic book. If you want to look into your relationship with food as a spiritual practice, check it out. It's amazing. But what she says in that book is that we are walking manifestations of our deepest convictions. We are walking manifestations of our deepest convictions. The behaviors that we play out are simply a symptom of what we believe to be true, especially about ourselves. So if we believe we are broken, that sets us up for frustration, disappointment, continuing that belief pattern, that thought pattern. So let's start now together collectively, recognizing for ourselves and reminding each other, I am not broken. You are not broken. There is no need to create a new you. However, if you're stoked to infuse new practices into your living, to recognize where you see yourself growing, to recognize what you want to leave behind, those are beautiful, empowering things. However, resolving to change who you are is rooted in the belief that who you are isn't enough. That is the ultimate Samyoga. Samyoga is the Sanskrit word basically for confusing similar things. So when we confuse love and lust, we experience Samyoga, and Samyoga creates suffering because it's a mental distortion. We can confuse who we are for our current state, right? When we confuse Prakriti, remember Prakriti is the element of reality, the nature of the world that is changing. So Prakriti is your body, Prakriti is your mind, Prakriti is all matter, because all matter is always changing. Your body is always changing. Your place in the world is always changing. When we link who we are, or we define ourselves by anything that is Prakriti, how attractive you are, how much money you make, what kind of car you drive, all of that is Prakriti. What number you see on the scale, Prakriti. So if you are getting self-worth from something that is property, you're experiencing samyoga because you are confusing who you are for something that is temporary. Who you really are is Purusha. Purusha is the light, the consciousness, the awareness that you are, and the qualities of Purusha are confidence, wisdom, and joy. When you asked yourself that question about 2017, I felt most alive when, or I felt love when, most likely you were connected to Purusha. You were operating from that place of your truest self, your most empowered, authentic self. That is Purusha. So anytime we confuse Purusha and property, we experience samyoga. It brings mala, residues, stickiness, debris that can cloud our perception and unfortunately cause us to suffer unnecessarily. So that is the first reason why I call BS on the whole New Year, New You thing. Secondly, you have the invitation to create change at any moment. Any moment. Right now, how are you sitting? Or laying or standing? What is your posture right now? Take a moment to evaluate. I'm leaning forward, my shoulders are a bit rounded, my core is disengaged. Okay, without judgment, that's just the case. Would I experience more joy if I changed the way that I am holding my posture? Well, if I allowed my chest to be more broad and my spine to elongate, I would have more room for breath. So as I'm sitting and talking, I can be breathing more thoroughly, infusing my physical body and my mind and my energetic body with more prana. So yeah, I'd like to make that adjustment. Boom. Change at any moment. There is no need to wait for a new year. Yes, I agree. It's a fantastic opportunity to be really reminded to start fresh, to center, to reflect, to refine. But the reality is, yogis, that is what this practice is. Every moment of every day, you are invited to take an honest inventory of your choices and then decide, would you like to continue with that same choice or make a new one? That's what yoga is. Yoga is contrary action aimed at refinement. That is the practice of yoga. To me, that's what it means to be a yogi. To be a yogi means that you have made a commitment to live a life of continual evolution through honest reflection and courageous choices. Because sometimes, let's be real, the choice that brings you joy, really brings you joy, isn't always the easiest choice. That's where tapas, that's where discipline comes in. So this is not a practice for the faint of heart. Like, this isn't the practice for the easy way out. This is a practice for those of us that are courageous, that are honest, that are humble enough to be real with ourselves, to love ourselves through the whole process, to recognize who we are is unchanging anyway. Yet the reason we make new choices is to serve ourselves better. I don't change the way that I sit upright or the food that I eat or how I speak to other people because I am broken or bad or feel shame. I make those choices to upgrade my habits because connecting to Purusha fills me with joy. Because when I show up as my most authentic self, I experience more joy in my relationships. I experience more joy in my profession. I experience more joy when I'm alone doing the dishes. That's why, that's the driving force in making change, is self-love. That I love myself enough to make choices that actually support me, mind, body, relationships. That is what this practice is. And I hope that you can see the radical difference between the approach of change motivated by self-deprecation, change motivated by shame, change motivated by fear. The difference between that and change motivated by self-love and the belief that you are worthy of a big life, a life that is full of joy, relationships that meet your needs. So when you take a look at those choices from 2017, allow yourself to reflect on what was the driving force or the belief at the nucleus of those ways of being. And I guarantee you, if the behaviors caused you suffering, they are rooted in a belief that is disempowering. On the flip side, if those behaviors brought you joy, love, connection, they were rooted in being connected to Purusha, recognizing who you really are and operating from that place. So what I've chosen to do personally when I transition to a new year is I do this work of fleshing out and honoring what is over. I give myself some time in the hammock between over and next. And as I look forward to next, I choose a word to capture the essence of the vision I have for that upcoming year, that upcoming chapter, that upcoming event or experience or adventure, right? So as you look forward, one word that encompasses that vision you have for the coming year, please share it. You can write it in your journal. You can comment here below your word for 2017 that encompasses your vision for the coming year. My word is Shraddha. Shraddha in Sanskrit is essentially faith. It is trust and conviction. The reason I chose this word is because my tendency, like many of us, is to have so many things that I want to focus on. I have all these ideas, all these passions. I'm Vata. That's the dosha in Ayurveda that is full of air and ether elements, right? So lots of movement, lots of free thinking, lots of creative ideas, but can have a hard time kind of grounding in reality and bringing those to life. So my mind wants to spin on all these different ideas. And I chose a word that best unites all of those things in one. So in this upcoming year, I'm going to become a new mom for the second time. And that includes labor and delivery and postpartum and all of those new stages. That includes learning how to be the mother of two. That includes learning how to walk through this new journey with my husband. That includes a new approach to my yoga teaching and my yoga practice and all of these things. Plus, I have vision. I have vision for how I can best serve students using yoga philosophy and what ways I want to communicate these gifts to other people so that we can all be uplifted. What I envision for my career and for me as Kelsey, separate from being a mom, separate from being a wife, separate from being a yoga teacher. So when I put all of those things together collectively, the heart of my desire is that I approach all of these things with faith. Faith that things play out in ways that are best for me ultimately. Faith that I have what I need within me to achieve my goals. Faith that when the road turns a new way, that there will be lessons and joys and value in those new turns. Faith that I am gifted and able to serve my community the way that I want to. So that is why I chose the word Shraddha. I hope to hear your words very soon. So in choosing that word, I want to look forward. So maybe you haven't chosen a word yet. Maybe you have. I want to look forward into the upcoming year by being honest with myself about what I'm carrying now. So again, with your journal, write down, if I had 5% more time, I would. If I had 5% more time, I would. Next, if I had 5% more confidence, I would. Remember, no evaluation, just write. Free write, flow of consciousness. And finally, in the past, I have felt unlovable because. In the past, I have felt unlovable because. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing your word soften. I think that's such a beautiful word, and I can feel the resonance of your intention. The beauty of being single-minded in choosing one word is it allows us a measuring stick to continue to evaluate throughout the year. Am I moving in the direction I intended? And one word is so easy to measure up against. We can get carried away with, I want to drink more water, I want to sleep 8 hours a night, I want to be a better friend, and we make this list of like 10 New Year's resolutions. And I'm going to be honest with you, that system is flawed. Please share with me if you have experience otherwise. But the system of creating goals, like I'll see people say, my intention for the week is, and they'll list 3 different things. Your intention for the week can't be 3 different things. Your intention needs to be single pointed. That is what the practice of yoga is. You're able to harness the fluctuations of your mind. If you have 3 intentions you really want, pick 1 per week. Now you have 3 weeks worth of intentions, right? So when you choose the word soften, Jessica, I love that because it's so easy then to use that word soften as a measuring stick throughout the year to evaluate, okay, what does my schedule look like? Does my schedule look soft, right? What do my words sound like when I talk to others? Are they soft? What is my approach to myself when I feel like I fall short? Is it soft, right? So you're using the one word, one pointed focus to refine and reflect. And I just love that so much. All right, so you have now your honest inventory of kind of where you are right now. And that process of being honest with yourself can really take time. So again, just like with evaluating 2017, if you want to spend some more time with that, please feel free. One practice that I want to share with you in the last minute or so before we go is a meditation that I borrowed from, oh man, I'll have to share her name. I forget. It's an author that, again, was on Oprah's podcast and Super Soul Sunday. She wrote a book on presence. I'm forgetting the title now too. But anyway, she had this beautiful meditation that I have created my own meditation around. And it is my go-to tool for setting a tone that connects me to my truest self and allows me to step into Shraddha. So I'll share this with you. Hopefully you'll find it helpful. Set aside your journal, set aside your pen, find a comfortable position, whether that's seated, whether that's lying down. This will just be brief. You're welcome to close your eyes. You're welcome to keep them open, to rest your hands and your arms wherever is comfortable for you. And in this posture, allow your spine to be nice and long. So your torso is spacious so that your breath can be both long and smooth, intentional and soft. And notice the way that your breath moves through your body. Let that be your anchor. into this moment and into your physical form, your physical body. As you sit here in this space, in this stillness of connection, imagine yourself, your physical body, being filled with love. Perhaps for you, that's a color. Perhaps for you, it's a sensation in your body, a temperature or a density. You are filled with love in every corner and cell of your body. So filled up that there is no room for any more. You are entirely at capacity of love. Soak up this experience of being so filled with love, and whatever thoughts, feelings, sensations, or images come along with that. As you savor it, recognize there is nothing I can do today to increase or decrease the amount of love available to me. There is nothing I can do today to increase or decrease the amount of love available to me. Allow yourself to repeat that mantra, either mentally, verbally, or perhaps when the time is right, written in your journal, to let it download into every fiber of your being that you are whole and filled with love, just as you are. Nothing to be earned. You are worthy. And when you're ready, savor that with an intentional inhale breath and thorough exhale. You can open your eyes if you close them. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have feedback, if you have questions, comments, please, yogis, let's make this reciprocal. I wish I could see your face, but I'd love to hear from you. If you want more information, you can look at past Sunday Sutras. You can visit my website, kelseydelaneyyoga.com, get some free resources, read my blog, connect with other yogis. Until next time, much love and enjoy the rest of your day.